Morning, morning. I had my second music class last night. I'm not using Logic at home, so I thought I'd run you through some of the things I'm doing because it's kind of cool. Again, the reminder is I'm learning this stuff because I hire composers and stuff occasionally, and it's nice to know the music making side of it so I can make bad versions of it, plug it in, or maybe just make some versions where I actually don't need a professionally made version, and sort of run it through the thing. And I want to play around with it and stuff. So obviously I can't run through everything that I've been learning and stuff, but I'm just going to run you through some of the basic tools that I've been using for this that are open source that you can play with basically, because I find that this information is actually kind of hard to sort of find in one place. So Let's Make Music is sort of the main digital audio workstation thing. It's open source, it works on everything, very chill, been using that. The class is an introductory VST, uses Tal Noisemaker. I'll show you how that plugs in a sec. So this is like a basic way to make beeps and boops. And then the last thing is a thing called sound fonts, which was basically what I was playing around with a lot last night. And I'm using Polyphone here. So in Logic Pro, there is like some sound font related behavior that you can hook up, but I wanted something that was open source and a bit more portable. So there's that. So if I pop this open, basically what I need to do here, you see there's a whole bunch of stuff here, and it's really fun because you can get, so the triple oscillator is like sort of there's already one in there. The triple oscillator is the sort of native version of their thing. So you see, it's got like a little thing, and then you can do little bits and bobs. I'm not going to duplicate that, but it's very similar to the thing I'm going to show you now, which is you get Vestige. So this is a VST thingamajiggy, and you just locate where you've installed your Tal Noisemaker download, or you should have it. Okay, if you don't have it, what you'll get is somewhere you'll get one of these little this was like one of those less than obvious bits that I had to discover. You will have this download here and you'll be like, oh, what do I do? You just need that DLL. You drag that DLL somewhere, and then with the VST program, the Vestige thing, unfortunately, because this is open source software, sometimes it's a little bit shitty. Oh no. Oh no, it's hanging out on me. There we go. Okay, I think it's listed. It was trying to do operations. You open that. Okay, so now it's open. And now, the same as in Logic Pro and a lot of other places, you get the Tal Noisemaker, right? So this will look the same in Logic and a bunch of other stuff. It'll have slight differences because it's been rendered by LMMS, but it's a portable thing. So now, you see the basic stuff here. So if I turn off sub there, the other thing that is useful is if I add an effects chain here and I go analyzer, spectrum analyzer, there we go. So there, now you can see the sort of thing, and if I switch this over to, actually let's use this one here, sine wave. So you'll notice that it's like, the big thing that the teacher's going through is basically the reason things are laid out the way they are is entirely historic. And so this is why a lot of the music tools can take a totally different route. But this one here is based on like a common format that a lot of synthesizers in the 80s used that then was copied out thing, which is why, for example, OSC1 has some features and OSC2 has different features, even though they're both software defined and there's no real reason to limit it. But I can show you here, now that I have that, you can see the sine wave is like one of the cleanest sounds you can get, and you can see on the spectrum how it moves along there. And then if I do this, oh, I don't have the MIDI keyboard plugged in, so I can't hold the button at the same time as but you can see I'm pushing the same button. You can't see that. Well, actually, hold on, you should be able to see. There we go. The same key there activated. But I can move it along the same way. And then we were basically introduced to, this is again from last week's lesson, we were introduced to a bunch of things we could do to that, whereas like, oh, you could take that sound there, and you can take this sound here, and I'll turn this one up, and you can say, oh, we'll do a square wave on this. And now that's immediately, because I'm combining, move this up a bit. See, it's immediately sounding better. And then you can do like hardcore semitone, a hardcore semitone sort of. Changes there. And it's just fun, right? It's fun. Making beeps and boops. And these LFOs are basically like things that can change things. So like I can do this to this one here. Well, actually, let's do this to oscillator 2. And so now this can make oscillator 2 wobble, right? You see in the spectrum analyzer how it's wobbling there. But now if I make the wobble less and I make it a bit faster, it's kind of cool, all right? But then we can introduce things like the filter cutoff and stuff. So this is like a high pass filter, which is like taking out the low pass filter, which is taking out the high tones. I get really annoyed that the low pass filter cuts the high end and the high pass filter cuts the low end. It's weird. Like, there's so much weird musical knowledge I don't have, but I know like a lot of the technical side about sine waves and how like old video game consoles had voices and stuff. So like here, by the way, at the moment we've got a single voice, which means only a single key press can be registered at a time. Totally arbitrary. We can go up to 4. Or we can go up to 6 even, actually, with this one. So now, immediately, you see we can make some interesting beeps and boops. But yeah, if we get this cutoff to behave correctly again, and we can shift the sort of bass note, by the way, from MIDI that's been used. So if I shift it up here, or if I shift it down here, basically wherever this is, now that's the bass note, that's like the neutral note, and then stuff to the side. So that's how you can sort of play around and shift this. Because your MIDI keyboard will only have so many keys on it, right? And you want to sort of define the range. And we can do other fun stuff. So this is the ADSR stuff I was telling you about, which is basically if you put this up, amp. If you put this up, you'll notice well, you won't notice, but I am holding down the button and it's taking to build, right? Because it's the attack. That's how quick or fast it comes in. Now, so that means if you've got a little bit of A on there, a bit more. See that the key takes a second. If you notice more if you look at like this meter here, the key takes a second to be pressed. Likewise, if we put a little bit of release on there, it's kind of well, if I put a lot, I can just show you the obvious. Slowly fades off, right? Whereas if I put like, that much, I can't do sort of super short notes, whereas here, super short notes. If I do that, right? It's got a little bit more. One of the things I find really annoying, by the way, is there's sort of these magic ranges you got to play with. And yeah, so making boops and boops. So the decay and sustain, so this is basically, if I drop this down, you'll notice, and I drop this up. Okay, so decay is basically like how fast does it, the sound decay, and sustain is how well does it hold the note. So if I turn this up, turn this down, all right, it's going a bit fast. So you see there how it has an obvious sort of drop down effect. But again, these are like really thing, and then there's all other stuff like chorus. And yeah, we basically had this long lesson about, oh, here's the different knobs, play with the knobs and find out what they do, right? And that's kind of fun. And you can save a preset like this, so we'll go like wibble, and then you have wibble there. But then you can go through and you can actually go, oh, well, here's a whole bunch of pre-made stuff. So like, let's go for some drum stuff. So, and this is just from turning the knobs. How much fun is that? That's just from like turning knobs and stuff. But then you can go to, I want to find one that has a, oh, there we go. That's a, what's that? Kick. So this is adjusting the filter using this over time sort of graph, which is kind of fun, right? So actually it's just factory presets. Go around, find some of these weird effect ones. Turbo loader. Don't know what that is at all. Yeah. So anyway, you can. There's tons of like instruments that have been defined here. Very cool stuff, and this is obviously the thing that we're learning off in a big way. Now, the VST stuff also has. The reason they're teaching that is because if you look, okay, this one doesn't really have it, but if you look at the triple oscillator here, which is sort of the built-in one, you'll notice it looks very similar, right? It has a few more features because it's not trying to be as limited, but it's got like the very similar stuff. And here's the attack, release, delay stuff, right? But it's in a visual form. So now if we go attack here, you see how it changes out the opening and stuff, and we can actually, sort of adjust this out here. But again, the key lesson that we've been learning is basically how arbitrary this stuff is. But then a lot of video game people will be familiar with SXFR. So this is a thing where you can make like a random, and it's using the same principles of like, oh, there's a bit of thing, or this is a, so this is randomized presets or templated presets of like little video game noises, right? And if you want to play around with sort of older, more familiar stuff, there's a bunch in here. Sorry. There's a bunch in here like Freeboy, which is like, if you know how the Game Boy works, this is basically the same sort of knobs and sounds you would have got out of the Game Boy. And there's a lot of knobs and dials you've got to figure out. And this is, but the thing that I've been learning is how these map, right? Because as I say, I was familiar with the technical side of these, but the main thing I was learning is how these map. Now, sound fonts. Again, I'm going super fast because I'm just giving you the overview in case you're interested. This is a sound font player, but obviously we need a sound to go into it. And that is where the last thing, Polyphone, comes in. So Polyphone, we make a new sound with this. So how this works is you bring in samples. Give me a sec. I will boop. Just come out here because I don't want to accidentally leak stuff. grab some random WAV file. Just going to find some random. See, I almost leaked something that I really shouldn't have there. I think there's some. Okay, that is like a random UI sound, I think, from Unreal. Oh, here we go. Okay, that there is a Steam UI deck sound, right? So you can import the sample here. Okay. And so you see this is like left and right channel thing. And that's the sound there, basically, right? And then what you do is you make a new instrument. That's new preset. Whoops. Make a new instrument of, I don't know. And then you link that into that instrument. Book. And let's bring up the virtual keyboard again. So now, a key thing, important thing to mention at this point about keyboards, obviously there's the different keys you push. You see sort of key 50, 60, whatever. And this is just like pitch shifting the sound, right? But then there's the velocity of the sound, which is how hard or fast you push the key. That affects things. And the aftertouch is, on the keyboard, it's like how quickly, I forget how it's mapped on the physical keyboard, honestly, right now. And you can put sounds in here, and then you can basically make a bunch of things where you're like, oh, for this key range, for the left-hand side of the keys, we're going to say, oh, we're only going to say for key 0 to 60, play this sound. You know, so it's only in this range, and we can say here, by the way, we can say, oh, let's analyze the sound. The largest peak of this sound is at key 53. So if you want to tune this sound, you can say, oh, it's tuned at 53, which should mean that is the sound as the sample is originally. That's higher pitched, and that's lower, right? That's kind of how that maps. Now there's a bunch of stuff you can plug into here that gets really complicated and interesting. But you build up a sound font, and then you can bring it in here, and it interacts. Now unfortunately the sound font is not the easiest way to sort of show you what's going on there. So I'm going to bring in a simple boop. So this is a single sound. Are you not going to do this thing for me? Open audio file. Okay, let's just copy full name to keyboard. Okay. So now, oh, that's actually a really not great one. Let's find bumper end. Okay. So now you can see but now we don't just have to do that. We can go, oh, okay, remember the wobble thing that we did, right? So we can say, oh, here's the LFO. Let's go and let's go with slow it down. That's I haven't played a ton with this particular. No, that's. Why is this not? This LFO is not doing what I expect. So that should be a high frequency wibble. This should be a lower frequency wiggle. Yeah, okay. The wiggle amount not coming through as we'd expect. Okay, that's weird. But I haven't played a ton with this particular one. Okay, I'm just going to disable. Yeah, I'm going to disable that for now. But then obviously we can put the high pass, the low pass filter on here. Yeah, anyway. As I said, we've mostly been playing with the Tal Noisemaker to learn all the beeps and boops, but you can see how you can, and then you can go like, oh, we're going to stack in octaves. Oh, why is that not stacking in octaves? Kind of cool, right? So anyway, ton more that we've been learning. There's a ton of material. Honestly, I will probably end up having to build stuff in Fmod, but it's all very similar to this. And if I can make some beeps and boops sounds, it's the stuff there that I've just never taken the time to learn. And now I'm getting a class on it, and it's fun. I'm really enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it playing in. I don't think I'll ever be like a big audio person, but it's nice to have enough sort of knowledge to know what I need, know which knobs I need to reach for and stuff. Because I understood the math and the code behind a lot of the knobs. I didn't understand why you would turn a certain knob, or how you would get to a bass sound, or how you would get to this sound, and why you would want a little bit of frequency wobble and stuff. As I say, each class is like 3-4 hours, and I'm giving you the very quick sort of whoom over the last two classes that I've had, and 2 more classes to go. And I'm enjoying it. I'm excited. It's been really fun. With that, I'm going to close this off for now, and see you all tomorrow.